Welcome back to the FREESKIER Podcast. I'm your host, Tyson Martin. Today I sit down with photographer, writer, and action sports storyteller Izzy Lidsky. From discovering photography in a high school darkroom, to becoming a staff writer for Powder Magazine and working with brands like Red Bull, Teton Gravity Research, and FREESKIER Magazine, Izzy has built a career documenting the people, places, and moments that make outdoor culture so compelling. In this conversation, we explore photography, skiing, storytelling, creativity, and what it takes to turn a passion for the outdoors into a meaningful creative career. This is a conversation about adventure, authenticity, and following the things that make you feel alive. Now let's get to the show.
I'm Izzy. I'm from Colorado originally, but I live in Bend, Oregon now.
Amazing.
And I'm a photographer, journalist, a cat parent.
That's jumping all around the screen because people won't see that. So,
Yeah, I literally have a feather in one of my hands right now to keep him occupied.
I'm a fellow Oregonian. I was
Oh,
actually born and raised just outside of Portland.
no way.
Yeah, and I moved to Canada in 1989, and I've been here ever since. But
Awesome.
we used to have a condo in Bend.
Really?
At a resort called the Inn of the Seventh Mountain.
Oh yeah, that's like on the Cascade Highway right up on the way to Bachelor.
Yeah, so I went there. I couldn't even tell you how many millions of times I've been there. And it would be straight, as soon as they knew we were there, my dad and I would be on call to be fill in for the whitewater rafting they did. So the Deschutes
Yeah.
and I were best friends throughout my whole childhood.
Really? You
Yeah.
raft guided too?
I didn't guide. I just was like, even from the time I was little, like 7 years old, I was a paddler on the boats. So all the way up until I moved to Canada, we were there. Yeah, I mean, my parents owned a place, so we were there winter, summer, didn't matter.
That's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
Bend is great. I've been here for like a year and a half. And it took some time to grow on me because it's like so different than anywhere I've lived in a lot of ways, even though it's like still kind of a mountain town. But then like once I let it grow on me, it grew and now I'm here.
So what drew you to your love of photography and writing?
Um, Photo, I guess it was like kind of two different things. So photo, I've kind of just always taken photos. I like as a kid had a point and shoot that I'd, bring everywhere and take crappy point and shoot photos with and um always did that. And then I guess like real photos. Um in high school, my high school had a darkroom and a pretty substantial film photography program. So I started shooting film photos like 35 millimeter, black and white and not sports or people even really. It was a lot of like landscapes, still lives, um, and like I guess more fine art focused. Um, and learned how to do like medium format film and even some larger format and cool like silver emulsion processes and just loved it. And was always said I would never switch to digital photography and I always wanted to develop my own and all that. Um, yeah, so I love doing that. And then there was a minute when I had this idea I was going to be a doctor. Uh, and so when I was looking at colleges, I was like, oh, I like have to go somewhere with a good science program. And um, my mom is unfortunately always right. And she said, make sure you look where there's a good art program too, just in case. Um, and so the school that I ended up going to didn't have a photo program, but they did have a great printmaking program, which I also did a lot of in high school. And so I failed chemistry first semester and then declared an art major and decided I was not going to be a doctor. And when I got like higher up in the print classes, I was able to do like photo processes with printmaking. Um, and did like the fine art thing for a while and then didn't really start shooting like digital photos like of people and things and skiing and biking until I was like out of college and living in Jackson Hole and working at a production company. and I just started doing it for fun, and then had the chance to do it for work and want to do it more. And yeah, so that's how the photo thing started.
It's usually the
Yeah.
best way when it just something you love to do and it just kind of flows right into a work state where you can have
Hmm.
fun watching people just, throw themselves off amazing, amazing stunts and just be mind blown by the way they can handle it and control it. And then
Yeah,
you
well,
can capture a few pretty sick images along the way.
yeah, and when I was like doing the fine art thing and printmaking and painting and doing all of that, like everything I was making art about was about like my own experience outdoors. Like I was trying to capture like what it's like to ski powder, like what it's like to, go on a bike ride at sunset and like the like kind of visceral feeling that you get. And I feel like action sports films, like watching them, a really good one captures that feeling and like transports you to that. And so with photo, I felt like shooting photos of those things successfully does the same thing in a way that like some of the fine art I was making didn't ever really feel like it did. Um, yeah. So it's like it starts off as like, one medium and then you're trying to capture an experience and it ends up in photo. That didn't really have a point or go anywhere.
It's all part of it.
Yeah.
So you also are a writer,
Hmm.
and that is, I would say, from what I heard, your full-time thing.
Yeah. Again, kind of an accident. I never like really sought out to be a writer. I've always enjoyed it. Both my parents are writers. Um, and my first job not in fine art out of college was working as an editorial intern for Teton Gravity Research. So I was doing something adjacent to what I do now, which is just like writing for the TGR website. Like, this person dropped a film and it was sick, and here's 250 words about it. But it was very cool because it was a new way to like engage with sports and sports media and like learn a lot. And then once I left TGR, writing like kind of took a back burner to photo, and I was freelance, and photo always like kind of came first, but writing is something I still did, you know, to make extra money and when projects arose and when I didn't want to lug around a camera bag and all that. And then actually the guy who I interned for at TGR uh now is the gear editor for Powder Magazine, and I was like doing some freelance work for him last year, and he was like, "Hey, we have a job opening. Just FYI." And so yeah, now I am a full-time staff writer for Powder Mag, and I get to work with him again, which is pretty fun. Pretty full circle.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
yeah, and it's great because I've like developed the skill in a whole new way, but it's also great because my everyday is writing, and so it's allowed photo to become like a lot more passionate again, which is awesome.
Do you get to travel for your writing, or is it just they give you a subject they give you, or do you actually get to go to these places and then share your experience?
Both. Yes. All of the above. Day to day, I write a lot of news. Sometimes it's news, sometimes it's like uh I'll say clickbait adjacent, but it's not, definitely not clickbait. We are beholden to the ways of media, unfortunately. But yeah, and then I'm super lucky. I get to travel for my job a ton. Um, a lot of the time if I'm traveling, it's for work that's like photo and editorial. So I'll be like going to an event and covering it with photo and written work. I've done some trips that are like geared more towards one or the other too. Um, but yeah, I definitely get to travel a lot, which is very, very cool. And I've been to some very cool places this year alone, and I'm very lucky to get to do that for work.
Yeah, it's pretty much anybody's dream, and that isn't an athlete in the action sports world is to be able to travel and experience the amazingness that is offered. Where's your
Mhm.
favorite place you went this year?
This year, where's my favorite place? Um, I absolutely loved Revelstoke.
It's
I'd
pretty
never been to
sick, right?
Revelstoke, and yeah, I absolutely loved it. And I tore my rotator cuff like on the way there, and so I was
Oh
like,
no.
pretty showed up in Revelstoke pretty broken, and I still had such a good time, and I just absolutely loved it. I Yeah, I think about that trip all the time. And I got little pine cone earrings at the Revelstoke Farmers Market, and I wear them like all the time, like almost every day.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
You also do a lot of bicycle events, a lot of the big Rampage and the Zinc Invitational. Um, have you done Crankworks?
hmm
Yeah, so you did the Whistler Crankworks.
Yeah, I've
What
shot crankworks twice.
Nice. What in that realm? What was your favorite event that you've captured?
Well, I was in Revelstoke for a bike event, and it was probably my favorite bike event.
Okay, nice.
Um, I was there for Casey Brown's Dark Horse,
Casey
and Dark
Brown's
Horse.
such a sick rider. Oh, she's
Casey Brown
incredible.
is a sick rider, but Casey Brown is also a sick person.
Yep.
She's so amazing and so down to earth and so funny, so damn funny. Um, and I absolutely love Dark Horse because I mean for so many reasons, but um it was just very chill. Like it wasn't the way that like Rampage is where you're up at 4 in the morning, like frothing to get out to the venue, and then you're just like getting slapped by dust and UV index all day and like it's really gnarly. It was like, well, like start riding when we want to and then like maybe make like a farm fresh lunch and then like keep riding some more, but like we're probably gonna have to like do some barn chores and pet some horses in the middle. And then you're gonna watch like 35 of like the sickest girl mountain bikers throw down on some huge jumps, like right in Casey's backyard. It was so cool. It was the best.
That's amazing. What I can't even imagine what that was like. I mean, she's done so much for women in the mountain bike industry, just bringing them to the forefront, bringing them to Rampage, showing that the skill set is there, the abilities are there. I know as a spectator, as someone who watches Rampage religiously, um, I'm so blown away by the skill set. And, even outside of the riders, it's the people there to capture the event. I had Sarah Kempner on, and then Bryn Maurer, and everybody talks about um, how cool it is that it's so welcoming. It's not like some of the events where you have to fight tooth and nail to get recognition. You're there. Rachel Gallipo was on the show as well, and she was there with a video camera, climbing the mountains, capturing the action, and like it just blows me away, and I'm so excited to see what the future holds for the riders and for the creators that are there capturing spectacular moments that are history making.
Yeah, Rampages, I mean, for a long time when I got into shooting biking was like the North Star, like, oh, I just want to get to Rampage and like capture that. And um it's funny, I feel like a lot of bike photographers get into it. They like start shooting racing and then they like kind of go to free ride and like free ride's like you get to shoot that when you've like, done your due diligence or whatever. Um and I joke with people that I in biking I basically follow like Lifetime Grand Prix gravel and freeride and nothing in the middle spectrum of biking. Like I went straight to freeride when it came to shooting.
Yeah,
Then I follow gravel racing fairly religiously because I gravel race, but I like UCI was like a whole foreign world to me until like this year. So I think it's like, yeah, when you are someone that is into biking or bike media or whatever, and free ride is kind of like the thing that you pay attention to. Yeah, Rampage is like that North Star, and um, it is really welcoming, and that's the thing that I love about mountain biking. And it was also so intimidating my first year. I showed up and was like, holy shit, I should not be here.
I've never shot it. I'm more of a landscape. That's more my thing, that or street, that kind of shooting. I love gritty, grimy, and graffiti. They're
Mhm.
my things. So I'm constantly looking for that. This year is different. This year I'm going to start shooting some surfing. I'm going to start shooting some local mountain bike events. I mean,
Nice.
I'm in just outside of Vancouver, so we've got a ton of events up here. Um, and I have a project that I'm working on. My show is sponsored by Harlow Lighting, and I'm going to do a portrait project. But the twist is the portraits are actually of fellow creators, so fellow photographers. I'm going to take portraits of you guys.
You're gonna get us to be comfortable in front of the camera?
I'm going to do it.
Oh, fat chance.
But the reason is everybody does those like random street portraits,
Mhm.
you know. I want to do it with the people who are actually capturing those images. So whether it's a funny photo, it doesn't matter. And then the twist is Harlow has this portable light that I'm going to hand to the creator that I captured, and then we're going
Mhm.
to have another creator that you want to capture. So you capture a photo too for the project.
Oh, that's cool.
So
That's super.
we're kind of sharing and building into a community of people all over North America that are, like that are just kind of pooling together. So everybody kind of gets to know each other through the project.
Mhm.
And then it's going to be filmed. So it's going to be, turned into like a small documentary for YouTube, and
Sweet.
really work hard to just try to build. I'm all about community. I'm all about pushing the community feel over like backstabbing and fighting. I had enough of that in my life. So I'm just trying to share what I've learned in my 50 years on the planet, and hopefully build a big enough community where if there's problems, people can be like, hey, has anybody ever done this? And they can be like, yeah, 152 times. Let's do it. Here's what I did. This will help you out. And just it makes a difference. I feel like that is a way for everyone to grow.
Mhm. I mean, that's like the really cool thing about shooting events like Rampage or Crankworks too, because like everyone and their mothers at Crankworks. But Rampage and sometimes like in more ways is like it's really fun to shoot biking, obviously, and like be with the athletes, but there's so many creatives there that are like doing really incredible work. And for one, I feel like a lot of us don't get photos like of ourselves working very often. And I feel like there's like an unspoken effort. Like we all kind of like try to get shots of each other working for like, you do something like a podcast or like you want to like have one photo of yourself working on your portfolio website or your LinkedIn or whatever. Um, it's like kind of nice to have that from your friends. So I feel like that's one thing about it that's funny is like all the squids will be like, "Oh, can you like send me that shot you got of me?" Which is like kind of nice, but um it's also so fun to meet people whose work you've seen and like look up to and you get to meet them and like they're, just people too and generally they're really nice, but then also to like see people whose work you've seen like do their job and how they approach shooting, if you're shooting the same feature, like, oh, how do they shoot it? Or like how are they looking at this one thing and to meet new people and see their work and to like get ideas and to like work together um, on shots is really fun. And like, I think I've like learned more at Rampage the last 2 years than I do maybe at any other event. Like, not just about like, oh, like this is gonna be a better angle of like this like feature. But there's so much stuff about being a professional photographer that like you don't learn. Even like if you go to school for photography, there's just like stuff you don't learn. And there's things that, like everyone has their own way of doing them. There's not really like a right way, but there might be someone that's doing it smarter than you that you wish you knew. And maybe you see them in the media tent at Rampage doing it and you're like, oh, that's genius. Like stuff like storage, like hard drive storage was like a big conversation we had this year. So
I've
it's like
lost
so good.
so many images from
Oh my
bad
God, don't say
storage.
that. I've
I
never lost anything, knock on wood.
I quadruple backup now. And I do it because I've lost, like I took this one sunset image that was selling quite well. And I was like, I'm going to save it on this hard drive. That way it's off my computer and I don't have to worry about it. I know where it is. And I moved it. And within a few weeks, that hard drive failed and I couldn't retrieve the image again. And I'm like, oh, so now I have, like, the show gets backed up on my mixer. It gets backed up, a hard copy on the computer and on the cloud.
Oh my God. That's like
Because,
losing images is like my worst nightmare. And I say that, and actually, maybe my worst nightmare is when I do interviews with people for editorial, I just like record it on voice memos, like the iPhone app, which is, there's probably a better way, but I don't know. And my worst nightmare is like when you click pause when you're done. If you like click done, if you accidentally close out of it instead of clicking done, you'll lose it. And I'm so afraid of losing an interview after I do like a half hour, hour long interview with someone and then I like have to write an article about it. Oh my gosh, if I lost that, I'd be so shit out of luck.
and it's scary because this is, you know, I'm trying to pay my dues to make this into a living,
Hmm.
using my voice for a living. And I'll like get up some mornings and I'm like, I really want to go shoot. The weather's perfect, but I have a show to edit, or I have
Hmm.
to, sit down and I have to write an intro. I have to do
Hmm.
something like that. And I'm like, oh, the weather's so good. I actually haven't shot my camera in 7 months.
Really?
Yeah. And it
I haven't
sucks.
touched my camera unless I've gotten paid for it this year, which is something I'm trying to change. But like, it's hard to do creative stuff when your job is to do creative stuff and you like put the energy into getting paid. Sometimes it's hard to make art when you're getting paid.
Yep.
Sometimes you can do both at the same time, and that's awesome. But sometimes it's great to not get paid so that you can like fuck around more.
Sometimes that's the best way. I've
Yeah,
had some of my best experiences with the camera when I'm not on a job and I don't care. And I'm
yeah.
just like, I'm having fun and you're just in the moment. And that's when that all that practice and work and learning your camera becomes second nature and you're just flowing through the moment and you're capturing for me, it's always usually my best work
Hmm.
because I'm not being critical of of the composition and, oh, I shot that too dark. I was underexposed. Ah,
We're all our own worst critics for sure. It's so hard
100%.
to look at your own work and be like, oh, that's good. I like look at my own work and I'm like, you guys want to pay me money for this? No way.
I guess that's one way to look at it. But you know what? When the money comes into your bank account, that's when you pat yourself on the back and you realize, you know what? I just did it.
Yeah, yeah, totally, totally.
So with people listening, they always like to, from what I've heard and seen from email responses, they always like to get some words of wisdom from somebody who's working in the field, who's out there doing this as a job. Maybe some pitfalls to avoid, some negotiation tactics when it comes to working for magazines and brands. Anything that you might have to share.
Hmm. Are we talking like business advice? Or are we talking like general advice?
Things that worked for you.
Um, the number one thing that has worked for me in every piece of my job always is just to like be myself. And I'm obviously like fairly unfiltered most of the time, which may or may not be a good thing, but I definitely have never been able to like pretend that I'm anyone else or not be myself. But like, especially when I've had 4 hours of sleep and seven free Red Bulls, like, that's about like as authentic as it gets, which is like the general state that I'm in shooting a bike event.
Yeah.
Um, and as much as I'm like, oh, I should really like be more like chill or normal, I think that um like just being exactly who I am has like resonated with people in a way where they like end up wanting to work with me later, or like something in that gets communicated through my work in a way that people enjoy. Um, so while the advice is not to be me, it's just that everyone should be themselves as much as possible and like just be absolutely true to who you are. And I guess also with that, like having a good attitude. And I mean, like photography is not like a chill, easy job. Like it's super physical. We're outside. It's hard. It's emotional. Like it's very personal. Um, and there's like everyone has moments where they're just over it and over all of it and where it's like hard to be positive, but like so I guess generally speaking, the more of a good attitude you can have about the work and the industry and um other creatives and athletes and everything, like the better, because people want to work with someone that's like fun to be around and has a good attitude and is supportive, and they don't want to work with someone who's like crusty or jaded or a stick in the mud, even though I am crusty and jaded sometimes too.
It's sometimes hard not to be, especially when
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
tired and you've been doing back to back to back events or back to back to back shoots, or you have to write articles while you're on a shoot and you're trying to keep that paycheck coming in so everything's taken care of. It's a lot more than people give that thought to. They think you're just out there shooting photos, living the life. Everything else just takes care of itself.
yeah, yeah. And it's like, and I mean, with that, like the worst thing I ever did was get burnt out. And like my second rampage, so not this year, but last year, I had been like hustling so hard all summer and shooting all summer, and I'd shot all these incredible events and I'd had so much fun. And I was so burnt out that there was a part of me that didn't even want to be there. I was like so ready to be done. And I don't think I did very good work. And I don't think I was like a very fun person to be around. And I told the guy if he didn't get out of it my shot that I would rip his thumbs off, which is not something that I ever do. But I'd been setting up
Wow.
that shot for like 6 hours.
You know that guy has like been at home ever since that day going, man, I wonder who that girl was.
Yeah, right.
And
I like
now,
am never that person that's like, get out of my shot. And I just like couldn't deal with it that day.
well, I mean, Rampage is a different animal. It is
hmm
long, long days. It's
hmm
a lot of waiting. It is a lot of, you have to be ready as soon as you hear someone say they're dropping or they're going, you have to be ready. Because if you
hmm
miss it, they may not do it again that day.
hmm
So
Yeah.
it's a lot of pressure. And I think a lot of the average people wouldn't understand that pressure because,
Yeah. Yeah.
the shot comes once in what, 2, 3 hours, because once they get down, they have to climb back up.
hmm
And those shots are crucial. You want to have the best version of that shot.
Yeah. And I mean, the media from Rampage gets like so widespread. So
Yeah.
that's where people see your work. And they call it the Super Bowl of mountain biking, like that's the big one. So you definitely like want to do a good job. And it is a really intense environment, and it's hot and it's sunny, and it's easier to find cold Red Bull than it is cold water. And so we're mostly dehydrated and yeah.
Amped up on caffeine.
Yeah, couldn't be me. Me, never. No, never. Not I. Definitely not. But yeah, I mean, just like as far as, advice or like what to do or what not to do, like burning out is terrible because then you're at something like the Super Bowl of mountain biking and you're like, shit, I don't want to be here. I want to be at home with my cat. And that's the worst feeling in the world because being there is like such an incredible opportunity that so many people would kill to have. And
Yep.
yeah, like you do yourself and your photography a disservice if you don't want to be doing it.
Yeah, 100%. Have you been lucky enough to have some mentors walk you through your photography journey when it comes to shooting action sports?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You think I figured this out on my own? Hell no. No, I
Well,
mean that was the other thing I was gonna say is like you can take the best photo in the world, but if you don't know how to run a business, like you don't have a chance. So you have to learn how to run a business and get paid for it because like all of us getting paid well bodes well for each other. The person that's giving away free photos, and we've all done it because we didn't know or for one circumstance or another, is like hurting our whole industry. So yes, I've had mentors that have taught me so many different things on the business side, so many things on the hard drive side, the creative side. I feel like my first like big photo mentor was Katie Lowe, Lozansique. She worked at Teton Gravity with me, or I guess I worked with her. Um, and she's also an incredible bike photographer and ski photographer. And I get to see her at Rampage pretty much. That's the only time of year right now. So she comes to mind, and then Shannon Coursey comes to mind. And Shannon, I can't actually remember how I met Shannon, but she's a photographer and filmmaker. She's amazing. Um, so like they were my mentors very early on. And then the other people that come to mind, and I'm probably leaving out people because like we all learn from each other so much, and there's some people that have had an impact on me, but um the other people that come to mind quickly are Jasper Gibson, who I met way before I was a photographer. I met him my freshman year of college, uh, and we've just like stayed good friends, and he's an incredible photographer. Um, and then Dave Trempor is the man. He's like kind of a legend. And then I worked with him at Crankworks, and I was like, "Who's this Dave Trempor guy?" Right? Because I don't follow racing, so I didn't know who he was. Because he's like a big UCI photographer.
yeah.
And I met him, and he was like kind of off doing his own thing at Crankworks, and I was like, "Who's this dude? Like, he's not really like doesn't like want to hang out with the Pink Bike crew because I was shooting for Pink Bike." And then I worked with him at Rampage that same year, and he was just like so incredibly helpful and like such a homie and so fun to work with. And then we got to work together again this year, and like every time I shoot with him, I'm just like so impressed with like I think he said he took like 75 photos in a day at Rampage because he just nailed every single shot.
Wow.
Like he's not out there spraying and praying like the rest of us.
Yeah.
And I was like, shit, okay. So yeah, he's been a super big mentor of mine in the last like year.
That's crazy. 75 shots for a full day.
I mean, it might have been like whatever the opposite of hyperbole is, like where you say you took less than you actually did, maybe, but
Yeah.
yeah, I believe it. I don't know.
Jasper Gibson's actually coming on the show as well in December.
No way.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love Jasper. He's incredible.
I'm just trying to find people that are doing it, and
Doing it. He's like really fucking doing it.
yeah, let people get inspired, right? Because everybody looks up to someone like, man, I guess if you're on the racing circuit, it'd be someone like, Mad Dog Boris. Like he's a huge photographer and that's who you'd look up to. But like in the
Really? Boris is who you would choose?
No, but that's the name that came to my head because it's just, because he just followed my page the other day. So that's why I was like, oh, wow, look.
Yeah, he's great. I'm just kidding.
I know. Like Sterling Lawrence is somebody that when I was growing up, like in that realm heavily, he was the guy everybody wanted to shoot with,
Yeah,
right?
he's
So
incredible.
there's so many people, Sven Martin, like all these people who are just beasts behind the camera.
Yeah. I feel like there's lots of people that I like, I don't know that I would call them mentors. I've like worked with them, but I haven't necessarily like called them being like, oh, like how do I do this or whatever. Um, but the other one that comes to mind that I worked with at Rampage the last couple years is Satchel Kronk. Um, I
Yeah.
like met him and worked with him and he was shooting video and I like hadn't really seen his photos and then I followed him on Instagram and I was like, holy shit, everything he posts is so good. And we worked together again this year and I was like, Satchel, how do you do this thing that you do with every single photo? And he's like very low key and nonchalant about being super talented. Like let me pick his brain, but I don't know that I would like necessarily call him a mentor, but he's somebody that I like really look up to.
Yeah. It's good to have those too, because they're when you can see somebody that inspires you that are doing it at that, that level where you're gunning for, that's where you want to be. You don't want to
Mhm.
take that position, but you want to make it to that level. It's a stepping stone and you can see the ladder. You can see it can be done because they've done it. So now that's just another version of inspiration to figure it out and make those steps.
Yeah. Yeah, I know like now that we're talking about it, all these names are coming to mind of like people that it's funny, I feel like when you're on the media side of action sports, like when you start out especially meeting the athletes that like you have always looked up to and like grew up watching or like see all the time is really cool and like I hope that everybody else was as starstruck as I was like their first time meeting a lot of these people. I don't know like if anyone else wasn't that starstruck then like whoops that's embarrassing but also I feel like the times that I've met photographers and like cinematographers that I really look up to like has been equally as exciting. Um and like in some ways more exciting. And I feel like when you like really look up to someone's creative work, they have that same like superhuman quality that like a pro athlete does. Where you're like, oh, you're so talented. I can't believe you're talking to me. And then
Yeah.
sometimes you've seen your work and you're like, oh my God. That's like a pretty cool feeling.
Yeah.
Definitely meet your heroes. People say never meet your heroes. Definitely meet your heroes.
I agree with you fully. I have met, man, in my years of riding here on the North Shore and being involved in the bike industry before I moved back to the automotive industry, I have met so many people that I looked up to, and they've all been so amazing. So yeah, I agree with you on that one. I was just browsing your Instagram here, and so you like the bike packing, you like the
I
gravel.
have done I've done it once.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the Swift Industries picture.
Yeah. I went bike packing once. I do a lot of gravel biking.
Nice.
I'm hoping to go bike packing more. I just haven't. Yeah.
It's
Yeah, I
my
have not.
favorite category of cycling.
I love it. That trip was incredible. I did it because I a backpacking magazine asked me for a pitch and I don't backpack because walking is kind of boring
Yeah,
and I've broken my back too many times to carry a backpack like that.
yeah,
So they asked me for a pitch and I was like, I don't know, bike packing. And then I found this route near Bend and I like wrote a pitch and they were like, yeah, sounds great. We're in. And then I was like, cool, well, I don't have any of this gear. I mean, I had a bike, obviously, but I didn't have any bike packing gear. So I was like, oh, might as well get some brands to help out
yeah,
and pitch to brands. And it ended up being like one of the more successful creative pitch endeavors that I've ever done. And it was up until very recently probably the hardest physical thing I've ever done. And it was so awesome. And we learned so much. And we ran out of water and drank only whiskey and pickle juice for like a day and a half.
yeah. There's some stories there.
And I got to force two of my really good friends who had never met each other to meet and then bike 100 miles together. And they came out of it good friends, and I absolutely love that.
That's amazing.
It was awesome, and I really need to do more bike packing.
Where did you ride from and to?
So we did a route that circumnavigated the Metolius River. So it started, we like literally started at that park in downtown Sisters, Oregon, 30 minutes from home. And yeah, went out into the Three Sisters Wilderness and like up to um Green Mountain Fire Lookout. We took a little detour to the head of the Metolius because that river like just comes out of the ground. You can like go look at where it comes out of the ground, which is weird and cool. Um, and then went up to the fire lookout and then kind of like back around to Lake Billy Chinook, and then
I
it
know
drops
it.
you. Yeah, I'd never been there except for on that trip. And then it like brings you kind of around like the back of the Three Sisters Wilderness and a loop and then back to Sisters. I don't know. It was 3 days, 108 miles, 8,000 feet of elevation.
Nice.
Yeah.
What bike did you do it on?
I Specialized Diverge.
Nice.
My
I know
my
that bike well.
parents. Yeah, that bike has seen some shit. I'm gonna sell it in the spring. It's falling apart.
I the last year, so crazy part about today, a year ago today, I had just come home from the hospital. I was in the hospital for 4 weeks. I almost died.
Whoa.
I got a 2.5 millimeter saddle sore that turned into a staph infection.
Oh
And
my God, I got an infected saddle sore on that trip.
I've had thousands of these things in my lifetime and never had an issue. And this one literally almost took all the, like, I don't even want to get into what they would have had to do, but I got lucky that I only had 4 weeks in the hospital. But I had just bought a brand new bike to start. I bought a pedal assist e-bike to commute on
Uh-huh.
because I was sick of driving, and I was like, I miss riding because I haven't been on a bike for a while. And I literally got 2 months of riding in on this brand new bike and got this saddle sore, and I haven't touched a bike since. It's been a year today.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Dude, saddle sores, want to talk about something that people don't talk about? Saddle sores.
Yep.
We don't actually need to talk about that because they're gross, but
Just take care of them if you get them.
yeah, I got one on that trip that got infected, which is gross. And now the internet's gonna know that. You're welcome, internet.
But it's something I don't think people actually talk about it enough.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. And like, I don't know, we're talking to mountain bikers, like, especially free riders, like they're not doing a lot of pedaling.
yep.
But like, if you look into like road and gravel and like really long distance mountain bike racing, like it's a real thing. And um it's like caused really, yeah, big health issues for
Yep.
elite cyclists for a long time.
I still suffer from it.
Yeah,
I
all I
still
know is
feel
that
crappy. So,
I have an industrial size tube of chamois butter
yep.
that
Your best friend.
lives next to my bike stuff.
Yeah.
And there's one brand of chamois that I wear.
Yeah.
That's
It,
it.
yeah. No, I set this bike up. It's like it was a city commuter from Opus. I got the biggest battery I could get in the bike. So it's got like 260 kilometer range. I did a
Damn,
front rack on it that fits my camera bag.
that's awesome.
And I had like this set out plan of what I was going to do. I had mileage. I did 1,500 kilometers. Excuse me. 1,500 kilometers in the first 2.5 months of owning that bike.
Dang, that's
And I
awesome.
was like, oh, okay, finally I feel good. I'm going to be back in shape. And yeah, life hit me with a curveball.
Yeah,
So it's funny. I noticed that Joe Wakefield liked like that photo, and his episode of my show gets released tomorrow.
really? I
Yeah.
shot with him at Rampage too.
Yeah.
Joe's
Joe's
great.
awesome. Yeah. So I'm going to get him in on this portrait project too, because he's only about an hour and a half away from me.
He's a sweetheart.
Yeah.
Ugh, what a guy. He's
Nice.
fantastic. Yeah, like at Rampage this year, I got to work with him, Satchel, Dave Trempour. Um, Jasper was there, but I wasn't technically working with him. Like, such a good crew of
Were you
people.
on the Pink Bike crew again?
Mhm.
Yeah. I know
Yeah.
Joe is pretty stoked about the being part of
The
the pink
cockroaches in our
bike.
Airbnb? Oh, no, not that.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I love cockroaches. They're my favorite.
Yeah, no, Joe
Oh,
absolutely crushed it. He did a great job. He is like, yeah, I don't know how he gets the shots he does. He's just like a machine.
yeah. I've been pretty blessed with some amazing uh, action sports photographers being willing. I know it seems like this is, it's a weird thing to say, but they're so willing to come on and share their story. And I try to do it like kind of off season, so I'm not bugging them during their busy season. I learned surf photographers are very busy in the winter because the waves are bigger. So
Oh yeah, that checks out.
yeah, so I
Yeah.
have a few that I was like, hey, yeah, we should do this, and they're like, yeah, I'm in. Can we meet up in spring? Sure. I'm booked out
Yeah.
till April anyway of 2026. So
Yeah. I
yeah,
mean, it's interesting, yeah, bike season is kind of ending or over, but like because I work for a ski magazine also, like my bike season ended and I went straight into busy ski mag season, even though it's not snowing.
yeah.
Like
Have
it's
you guys had
still
any snow down there yet?
no.
It's going to be a weird year, I think. I'm
Uh, I yeah.
I
I'm
look at our
choosing to
local
stay
mountains.
optimistic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's usually we have a little bit. I can see the mountains from my house, and usually I can start to see the dusting about mid-November, like right around this time. And I don't see it.
Mount Bachelor was like open this time last year and it was
Yeah,
like covered and deep. And I went mountain biking last weekend.
yeah. Well, if it's any consolation, it snowed in Hawaii today,
Send some up here.
right? Like,
Yeah.
why can't we have the weather we're supposed to have?
Yeah. Yeah. It's like by this time, like I love biking. I love bike season, but I like did my last really big bike ride of the year after Rampage, and then I was like, okay, I'm ready to go skiing. And then now it won't snow. So
Yeah. So does it right around this time is when do you start planning your winter travel schedule? Do they start telling you where you're going to go and
yeah, yes and no. Yeah, it's kind of starting to like take shape. Last year I had a lot of like pretty crazy last minute things pop up. Like I think this time last year I think I just gotten offered my job at Powder, so I hadn't even started working there yet. And I didn't really know what winter travel was gonna look like. Right now, it's definitely pretty starting to get booked out already. Um, with work travel, I've got a trip at the end of January. I am going on vacation, believe it or
wow.
not. I have one photo client for my vacation, but only so I can make it a tax write-off.
Heck yeah. You have
Uh,
to.
yeah, put on
I'm
the business card.
I want to go down to the Oregon coast right to the California border, and I want to spend 2.5 months driving back up to Canada
Well, that's awesome.
and just stop at all the places I grew up going to and surfing and taking photos and just meeting the local creators and working on this project that I want to put together and just having a blast.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I love traveling and I love being home. I like to space out my trips. Like I like 2.5, 3 weeks between is like ideal, but it doesn't always happen that way. But right now I have like one trip a month-ish through winter.
Yeah.
I've got nothing until January purposefully, and then got a trip in January. I'm going on vacation to Japan in February.
Even better. Japan is
Yeah,
such a cool place.
yeah, going with some girlfriends to go ski in Japan, and then yeah, maybe some stuff in March, and then got a trip in April for Powder, like end of March, April.
Nice.
And then it'll be bike season again before I know it, and it'll probably be time to maybe go to Zig's house if he'll have me back. That's always the first one.
It's crazy how fast the time flies, especially when you're busy, right?
Yeah.
I felt like when we set up our interview, I was like, oh, that's like a month and a half away. Like, so easy, no problem. And then I looked this morning because I have to actually, as much as my program emails you guys, it emails me too to remind me that I have shows coming up. Because I'll get up at 5 a.m. and do shows with people back east. Because I'm just trying to give people that opportunity, and I'm driven right now. Ask me again in a year, and I guarantee you, I won't be doing I'm recording 104 shows in 4 months.
Dang. Yeah, I know your scheduling was like, 5:30 in the morning, and I was like, no.
Yeah, for some reason when I clicked it, it said I had a custom one set, but when I saved like the 7 p.m. ones, it went to the original one, which wasn't shown. And I was like, what's going on? Technology.
That was like some of the advice I got right when I went freelance. Some people I'd worked with told me, become a morning person. That's the best advice we can give you for photo work. And I'm still not a morning person.
I've always been a morning person until I got sick last year. Yeah. And now I love my sleep. Like, I love being home. I'll turn the TV on just to have noise so I can and I'll pass out on the couch because why not? I had a long day. Like the other Monday I got up at 4 to do a podcast with somebody in Sweden. So I did that 4 until 5:30. Then I got my son ready for school, and then I got ready for work, and then I went to work, and then I came home and did a podcast. And then I edited. So it was like 4 a.m. until midnight.
Oh my God.
And the next day I slept right through my alarm and almost didn't make it to work on time.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
No, couldn't be me. I take my sleep hygiene very seriously.
Amazing. Well, Izzy, this has been fantastic. I loved hearing about your journey and the fun you've had. And I mean, the hour goes by quick.
Yeah, no kidding.
Right. But it's just a conversation between two people having a good time. It's not, it's just to let people kind of get to know who you are.
I feel like people are not gonna, they're not anticipating anything except for my next saddle sore.
That's all they're going to talk about now. They're going to be like, did you get a saddle sore?
Izzy's career and all the unfiltered shit she says and oh yeah, she got a saddle sore. I wonder if she's gonna stop gravel racing one of these days.
You're gonna be at all the events and people are gonna yell, "Did you use your chamois butter?"
Oh my God. That's not the worst thing that people are saying to me at events. Definitely I've said dumber stuff before and people are still making fun of me for it, but whatever. At least I'm memorable.
Yeah. Where's the best place for people to find you?
Find my photos. Unfortunately, it's probably Instagram because I have not updated my website very recently. So Instagram, which is just my name, at Izzy Lidsky. To find my writing, you can go to powder.com probably because I write 3 to 5 articles a day for Powder. And to find all of the horrible things people say about me, you can go to the Pink Bike comments.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, I look forward to watching your career continue to grow. When you do make it into BC again, which I'm assuming will be right around Crankworks time or somewhere similar. Well, this has been fantastic. I'm going to make some dinner and try to figure out why my website's not working.
Cool. Good luck with all of those things.
I hate websites, so.
Oh, I'm going to take a shower because I went to the gym before this and then probably harass my cat.
Well, don't harass him too much. He might attack you while you sleep.
I'll probably do that anyway.
Yeah.
It's just kind of his MO.
Yeah. Well, enjoy the rest of your night. It's been a pleasure to have you on the show and as part of the ever-growing episodes that I have coming out.
Okay, cool. Because you're going to edit out all the really stupid things I said, right?
Nope, I'm going to highlight them.
Oh, God.
Awesome.
Can't wait.
Yeah. Have a good night.
Yeah, you too.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the FREESKIER Podcast. If this conversation inspired you, taught you something, or made you see the world a little differently, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share this episode with someone who needs to hear it. Follow us on all social medias at FREESK_podcast to stay connected with future episodes, behind-the-scenes content, and the growing creative community around the show. And remember, as always, photography heals your soul. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.